So expats are running for Plan C citizenships. And what are Plan Cs? Plan Cs are countries like Argentina, Mexico, and a couple of West African nations. These have some hidden magic, hidden advantages. Plus, they are not CBI, so they cannot lose visa free access. Unfortunately, the Caribbean CBIs are anytime now ready to lose the Schengen and EU access starting September. That's when we could see the final termination of visa free, like it did for Vanuatu. And the final nail in the coffin was the European Parliament's Justice and Home Ministry's approval. That was the final thing that was required to push this through. There's a couple of formalities that they need to still do, and it's only a couple of months that it should be completed. And after that, the Caribbean passports, the 5 Caribbean nations that famously or infamously had the Schengen or the EU access, we are no longer going to see that. That's the first thing that is going to happen, and that's a scary thing because a lot of people still are enrolling for some of those programs, and 250k plus fees, 300k to enroll in a program to lose all the access. Let's talk about the pricing and the pricing history, right? So it all started off with, not too long ago, they were selling at 100k. St. Kitts and Nevis used to be 150. They dropped it to 125. A bunch of people enrolled in it. After that, so the range was really 100k to 150k. Everything was going fine. There was no issues. And suddenly there was a war on these countries, or they're visa free. And the US came with a bunch of rules that were set to conduct interviews, to collect a lot of mandatory information, to set up regulatory bodies. There were 6 major principles, including sharing of data. So all of that was put in place by US. So they had to pretty much just put their hands up and listen to whatever they asked, which was a good thing that they listened. Then came EU with the 6 principles of their own. And again, what would they do? They would simply listen. A lot of the data is being shared from that. How some people call it Plan B. According to me, it's not a Plan B. It's something else. And that happened. They listened to pretty much everything. And then came the price. So suddenly from 100k, they flipped and they made it to 30k based on whatever the US and EU asked them. And then now finally they're losing that access. So what is the real price or the real worth or the real value of the citizenship? Now, what do you compare this to? And I wouldn't say Vanuatu, because Vanuatu is a quick citizenship. So in 3 months, and we are in a position to get this the fastest, right? Fastest as compared to anyone else. In a couple of months, this passport could be in your hands. And that's how fast we work. And we do it for both Nauru as well as Vanuatu. They're similar kind of citizenships. And typically when EU shuts down visa-free on any passport, soon after Ireland and UK typically follows. I think it's likely that once the EU suspension happens on the Caribbean passports, soon you might see Ireland and UK terminate their access as well, or at least UK might put an ETA, but Ireland might cut off that access. And then you have a passport that's pretty much good for nothing. And then you would compare this with something like a Nauru and Vanuatu. And it's not a fair comparison at all. And the reason why I think the Caribbeans at that point would not compete with the Vanuatu is because the Caribbean citizenships take a year or more for some of these programs. St. Lucia, there were reports that it was taking almost a year and a half. So what's the point of paying so much money, which eventually going to lose all the access? And 250, 300k, that's the amount. And then after a year, you get a passport just to lose all the access. I think just the fact that it takes up to a year or close to a year does not make it in competition with Vanuatu. Vanuatu is a lightning fast citizenship, 3 months, 2 to 3 months. Others take around 4 to 6 months, and most of the other people take around 4 to 6 months. But because we are the fastest, we have a legal way of getting this, expediting this on our end. And then Nauru is an in-between point, right? Nauru takes 4 to 6 months. Again, we are able to get this the fastest because of having a direct prime vendor channel. So Nauru takes whatever, 4 months, 5 months. Vanuatu takes 2 months, 3 months. So you can't compare these citizenships with the Caribbean ones once the EU access is gone. Vanuatu with the redeemable component comes to 160, 170. And then considering that you're going to get back the 50k, you're looking at a citizenship at 115. It used to be much cheaper. And I kept predicting this. I was the very first channels within this niche to say that this is going to happen. And this is exactly how it happened. I knew the visa free was just a matter of time. It's going to go the way the world is progressing. These things go within no time. Let's discuss what's the alternative, what's the solution, what should one do, right? If these are not good options, then what are? Now, options that are immune to not losing visa free access is the way the RCBI is pivoting. It's if there's a direct attack on options that they're publishing, then expats are going to look at or target options which are not open to public. So these EU nations or Western nations aren't going to know that these exceptions are going on. And that's the only way to tackle this issue, right? And a lot of countries, Plan C countries, that have this option of exceptional citizenship. As I said, there's options in Mexico, there's options in Argentina. Now, people or expats are definitely eyeing those nations, but if English is your thing, right? If you're looking for English-speaking country, or you're looking for a country that opens the door to other regions and other citizenships, that's where unique, exotic Plan Cs are critical. And the couple of options that I keep talking about are in West Africa, right? And you're talking about an ECOWAS nation that gives you access to half of Africa. And when I say access, this is not visa free. This is not something that you're going to lose. This is also eventual mobility rights. You can apply for residency permits if you have any reason to live in those African nations. So that's one major advantage. The second is a CPLP advantage, where you can open the doors to other nationalities or waive language requirements or naturalize faster and stuff like that. And this citizenship is not really known to anyone. This is an exceptional citizenship. It's a private bond between you and that country, and no other Western forces are ever going to know or be able to ban this type of an option, right? It's not a commercial CBI which can be criticized. It's a citizenship by exception type of a citizenship. So that's always a safer bet. What is the price point? For citizenship by exception, if you're looking at Latin America, let's say looking at something like an Argentina, then typically the cost varies, and it's an exception, so I cannot publicly disclose the cost. Right now, I would say hold off on doing anything with Argentina because Milei has just proposed a citizenship by investment option. We yet to see how that's going to progress, right? What are the terms? How is it going to function? We are yet to see. So I would say before jumping into anything, it's better to wait and let that process play out. In the Caucasus, you have Serbia that does citizenship by exception. So that's one country. Is that passport great? Does it have potential? Well, it's going to remain the way it is. So it's a good Plan C. It's a C plus option for your portfolio. And as of late, I have been talking about some of those African options. Those are really nice because they provide a lot of flexibility. The country has less control over you, and as long as you're keeping things legal, you're following the rules, and you're using that Plan C passport responsibly, this is the type of option that you want to add to your portfolio, especially if you come from a country like US, Australia, Canada, UK. Some of these countries have direct control over their citizens, and sometimes some of these citizens get fed up, right, of so much control. So they want to have a nationality from a country that's not going to supply information back to the home country. Otherwise, what is the point of the citizenship, right? Is it a real citizenship? That's the question you want to ask. And the trend is more towards countries that are going to leave you alone. They're not going to bother you. They don't have control over you. You have more control over your own passport. Those are the hidden gems that people are looking to get. Now, once you are in a bad situation, no one's going to give you any citizenship. Even those Plan C countries are going to say no because they don't want to mess around with active people with active issues. So before shit hits the fan, this is the time to get and secure your Plan C citizenships, and we do a bunch of Plan Cs. If you are interested in getting direct Plan Cs, at least 3 Plan Cs, you can always click the link, book a call. We can discuss which of those 3 makes sense in your situation, and then immediately get you started with the option of your choice. I hope you liked this video. If you did, give me a thumbs up and make sure you subscribe to the channel, because once that ban goes in effect, you will be the first one to be notified. All right, catch you in the next one.